So in this episode, we're going to be talking about finding and just doing your dream job. So let's say you have the dream job and you know what it is, but you just can't get yourself to do it. And the question we need to ask ourselves is, how is it that we can start to get ourselves on that horse to be able to just take advantage of the thing that we know we want to be doing? And the reason why I want to talk about this today is because last night I had the honor and the privilege to interview one of my good friends, Shlomo Levinger, who is a magician. And you might think, okay, you're a magician, but he's actually doing really, really well. And last night I spoke to him on Instagram. So if you want to check my Instagram live, do it over there. And we spoke about the idea about how it is that he stepped into becoming a magician. And I think it was something that was so important because there's probably a lot of people out there who have certain passions, certain dreams. They want to do something, and it's just not that's not the standard. It's not the normal. And last night I dove deep into what it is that Shlomo is doing in order to allow him to see that success and allow him to jump into being a magician and just being able to step into the things that he wants. So today I'm going to talk about a bunch of the ideas we spoke about last night and the tips and pieces of advice that he gave to other different people who are looking to do their jobs. And what's interesting is that you could take this for jobs that you could be making money. So let's say you want to be a real estate owner, or if you want to be, a doctor, you could take it that way, or you could take it to the place of where, I want to be looking to make money doing dog walking or something like that, and really trying to find out the things that we can do in order to allow ourselves to create an actual business that is profitable and really making money in a way that we can start to see that success. And I think if we could start to do that, then we really have the ability to find our dream jobs, and not just to find them, but to do them and to make it happen. And it might not happen overnight, probably won't happen overnight, but we can start to get on that path and on that journey. So one of the first things that he said in terms of why it is that he did it is that he said, like, he always had a passion for magic. Since he was in ninth grade, he started doing magic. And he was always like the guy doing magic tricks. And throughout high school, he saw his friends trying to do little side hustles, trying to make a few extra dollars here and there. And he said, you know what, if I can make $50 doing a birthday party, like, that's awesome. And for him, that was really amazing when he was younger. And what he realized is that he didn't think about it too much in terms of like becoming a magician, not becoming a magician. And it was something that he decided to really take advantage of when he was able to start to put in the work. And I think so many times people get so caught up on how they're going to do their thing that they end up not taking the action to move forward. And it was one of the things that he was so, I would say, so lucky about. He was so young about the fact that he wasn't overthinking the fact that he wanted to be a magician. He wanted to make money doing it. So he just started small and he started doing all these different things, but he didn't get caught up on the how. And because he didn't get caught up on the how, he just did it. He just started reaching out to people. People started finding out about him, and he started to do all different types of shows as he was younger. And by doing that, he was able to slowly step into the thing that he was starting to do. And it was so important that he was trying to figure out, what's the next gig? What's the next small show? There was no, it didn't matter how big it was, how much money he was getting paid. He was just doing it to have a good time. And it transitioned into this thing of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to start with birthday parties. And then I'm going to start doing, I think he said nursing homes was a big one, that he was able to go to nursing homes or smaller parties and whatnot, and really starting to build up his credentials in terms of like what it is that he's doing, that he was starting to become better at preparing and to working and becoming a showman and performing and all these different other skills that he needed in order to be good. And he said that if he would have, quote unquote, made it as he was younger, if he would have gotten, that one TV gig that he wanted to be doing when he was younger, he would not have been able to become as successful as he is today. And he's only moving up. And the reason why is, he said, because he learned so many things, so many different nuances by all the little shows that he did that he would not have learned if he would have just jumped it. And so many times the young adults that I speak to and the ones that I work with, they're in such a rush. They want to make it already. They think they should be there already. They hear about these different people who are killing it and this and that. And you have to understand, like, this stuff takes time. And there are certain skills that are intangible that you don't necessarily know that are there, but they are there. And you have to put in the work to earn those skills. And it's something that so many people want to jump over, but you have to realize that that's just not the case. And even those people who, quote unquote, make it and they take it and they're like an overnight success, which is highly rare, you have to realize that the skills that they learn to become an overnight success is like they might have failed 5 or 10 times beforehand with the other ideas that they've had. And this one, based on the other skills, they were able to take it, tweak it, and start to put into something else that took off. But if they wouldn't have had that other experience, they wouldn't have been able to do the thing that they were doing now that was going to really help them. So we have to understand for ourselves also, when we are starting to do certain things, when we're starting to put ourselves out there, when we're starting to take advantage of different things in our own personal life, we have to realize that we have the ability to do these things, but there's like a learning curve that we need. And so many people don't think about it like that. So many people don't take advantage of it. And so many people don't realize that they want to skip the hard part, but you need that in order to become successful. And I think that was something that was part of Shlomo's success also, just his humility of understanding, you know what? I'm a magician. He even got advice from another magician, like, hey, don't do this as a full-time thing. Like, you're not gonna be able to make it. And like he was like, all right, I'll probably won't do it as a full-time thing. And he even like started going to school. And then he's like, you know what? Let me jump into this thing. And then by doing that, he was able to see that success. But he was so humble for the fact that, you know what, there's so much to learn. I'm not gonna, be upset that I'm not getting the $1,000 gig or the $5,000 gig, because in the beginning, he realized that there was so much more to be learning. And I think if we could all be a student of whatever it is that we're looking to do, then we can start to see that success. And it's interesting because so many times people will have different with different things going on, and they want to see that success, but there's so many other skills. So I know, like in entrepreneurship, like you have to know how to create a product, you have to know how to do marketing, you have to know how to do sales, you have to know how to deliver the product and keep them on. And there's so many different areas that we need to be working on, and there's so many steps that we need to be building in order to achieve success. And we think in the beginning we know, or we should know, we have an idea about what it is we need to be doing, but recognizing and realizing, hey, you know what, there's so much more here, there's so much more possibility that I could start to do in order to see success, as long as I stick with the plan, as long as I learn those skills, those foundational skills to be moving forward. It's one of the reasons why I teach these skills to these young adults, is because I want them to have that learning curve so much quicker. And if we could start to recognize, hey, there's so much more out there, I have such an ability to move forward with the stuff that I'm doing, that is going to be the thing that could really help us move forward. And so many times people don't realize it. People don't recognize, hey, you know what? There is a lot going on here. There's a lot that we have to try to figure out. And if we can start to recognize that, then guess what? Then we have the abilities to start to take that success and to really start to see things that are happening. So number one is, don't get caught on how, because so many people get stuck on the how, and they're trying to think about all the steps that they need to be doing, and they just don't ever take that first step. That first step is going to be the hardest. It's going to be the most difficult. Going from 0 to 1 is a lot harder than 1 to 10. And recognizing, if we could start to figure out, okay, what is the first move I need to make? What is the first thing that I need to be doing in order to see that success? That's going to allow us to at least start, and then we can start to tweak things along the way. Of course, we need to be prepared. Of course, we should do our due diligence. Of course, we should be learning along the way. But as long as we have that humility that we don't need to have everything figured out, we're going to learn, we're going to mess up, and we can continue to be resilient and to get the feedback that we need. That's going to be the thing that's going to be the thing that's going to help us. And to also recognize that we need to start small. Recognizing that if we can start to figure out what is that first small step and really chunk it down. And this is the reason why I love reverse engineering goals, because we can really break it down into such small steps that could be so tangible and so easy for us to do. And if we could start to realize that, then we have that ability to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be able to do this one thing. And there's different things that people are trying to work on, different areas that people are trying to figure out what it is I need to be doing. And if we could just chunk it down to like the smallest steps, that's going to be the thing that's going to be able to help us to move forward. It's like, I always give the example of the guy I worked with who wanted to own 200 units of apartment rentals. And he said that his goal was like a 2-year goal. And we broke it down to literally all the steps he needed to be doing. And the week that we were in, he just needed to reach out to 3 brokers, just literally just contact, text, or call 3 different brokers saying, hey, what's going on? I'm looking for properties in this area. And that's a lot less scary than saying I need to own 200 units that are making $200-$300 a month cash flow, and I need to be, managing them and having a whole team on top of them. Like, that's a lot less scary. And if we could start to chunk down our goals, then we can start to realize, okay, what are the steps that we need to be doing in order to start to see that success? And I think that is something that is so key when it comes to the stuff that we want to be doing. So recognize that if we could start small, if we start to figure out what those mini steps are, that's going to be something that could be really helpful. Another thing that really jumped and really helped his success is 2 things, really. Number one is that he was ready to optimize different areas, meaning he understood how important social media was, how important marketing was, especially if you're going to be a magician, and also understanding that a lot of people do, the reaction videos, and he could get himself out there doing that. And he says that he knows certain magicians who are terrible magicians, but they're quote unquote famous or they're in the spotlight because they're just good at the marketing aspect. He also knows magicians who are really, really good that don't have any, that aren't getting any gigs because they're just not good at that stuff. And he recognized that and saw that early on. And that's why he was so into creating videos. He's all over social media. He has a YouTube channel. He's even spoke about different things that he's going to be doing now that is only going to help him in order to do the things that he wants. And I think it's so important that we have to realize that what is a way that we can stick out from the industry, and also realizing that so many people within our industry are not doing the basics. And if you really just do 5% more than most people, you're going to be ahead of most people. And that could make you look different. Then we could try to figure out how can we get more creative? How can we do different things? How can we try to optimize all these different things in front of us? But recognizing that if we have this ability to move forward and to realize, hey, what's going on here? How is it that I can start to move forward and to really make something happen? That could be the most powerful. And that is the ability that we can start to do in order to make something happen. So if we could start to realize that there is an avenue, we have to get creative with the avenue, but we have to just, even just in the beginning, start to figure out what is it that I can or should be doing. Don't expect things to happen, but put yourself out there to make things happen. That's going to be a big shift in terms of our own success and the own path that we draw. And I think so many times people think, I need to follow this path. I need to do X, Y, and Z. And if I don't have the exact same path, then it's not going to work. And what we have to realize is that on the one hand, there is this path. On the other hand, everybody creates their own path. Everybody knows different people. Everybody has different experiences. Everybody goes through different things. There's not going to be the same exact path directly for everybody. And people want this cookie cutter map. The map isn't cookie cutter. And if we can start to say, hey, what are the skills I need? So then I could get out there and figure it out. It's like, what are the skills I need to go camping? Like if I want to go camping or backpacking for like 2-3 weeks, what are the skills I need? And you need to learn the basic skills. So when you go out there, like you'll have the ability, I know how to make a fire. I know how to set up a tent. I know how to find food. I know how to do all these things, as opposed to saying, hey, I need to like do X, Y, and Z. And if it's not like this way, if it's not figured out exactly like this, if it's not this type of tree, or if it's not this time of day, or if it's, I don't know, if I don't have the tree separated, this distance, then I won't be able to put up my tent, then you're setting yourself up for failure, because there's going to be different things that are going to be happening that are not going to be cookie cutter. And if we could recognize that it's more important to learn the skills so we can adapt to the situation, that's going to be the most important. And so many times, especially nowadays with technology coming out, there's so many different things that are going on. So we all have that ability to try to figure it out, but we have to actually put out the action and do the things that we need to be doing. And I think what was interesting with him also is that he really put himself out there. He was talking about how there's somebody on social media that he would follow, that he looked up to, who was pretty famous in the famous world and knew a lot of different athletes and different influencers and whatnot. And one day the guy was, I think it was like 30 or 40 minutes away from where he was, and said, "Oh, I'm in this area. Is anybody tell me what to do?" And Shlomo said he literally just texted the guy, or messaged him and said, "Hey, there's nothing to really do in the area, but if you want, I could come over and I could do some magic. We could, make some videos and whatnot." And the guy's like, "Sweet, that's awesome." So Chomo literally drove over and met him at, I think, at a bar, and then went and started to do magic with him. And the guy started posting these videos on his social media platform, which only enhanced Shlomo. And then Shlomo was able to get all these other followers, which allowed him to start doing magic to athletes. That's why he went to Alex Bregman's house. It's why he did stuff with Trout and with certain hockey teams, and he's doing all these different stuff. And it's really from that one moment that he put himself out there, because I think so many of us think that we need that connection. Oh, if my dad doesn't know somebody, or my uncle is not, working at some place, then like I can't make it happen. And Shlomo literally made it happen. He went out of his way. He put himself out there. He didn't know how things were going to go. Maybe the guy was going to hate his guts. And recognizing that if you could put yourself out there, if you have an opportunity, take advantage of it, because you don't always have those opportunities. And it seems like that one story really blew him up in all different areas. And the reason why he's doing magic tricks to like Verlander and all these other big names. And we have this ability to just see what it is, take advantage of it, put ourselves out there. And if we get rejected, we get rejected, but at least we put it out there. And to know that, there's other things that are going to be going on. And I think that is something that is so important, because so many people don't really take advantage of that. And I think the last message that he was trying to portray, or at least one of them that I got, is that when it comes to something like magic, where it's not so glorious, or maybe you don't think it's really possible, understand that there are people doing it. And you can be that guy. And if we could just recognize that, if we can start to see to ourselves, hey, you know what? I have the ability to take advantage. I could do this thing. Then guess what? Like, we'll be able to move forward and to really to really take advantage. And so many people don't recognize that. They're so scared that they can't be that person. And not saying it's going to be easy. It doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. It took Shlomo, I think he's been doing his magic for 7 years, and now he's getting these bigger gigs over the past year and a half. But like, it takes time, and there are certain skills that we need to learn. If you could be humble, if you can look to just start, not get caught up on our why, and really just start to put ourselves out there, get creative with the way we're going to do our stuff. Is there not reasonable to like be able to be successful over time? And that's what we need to start thinking about. That's what we need to start to realize when it comes to the success and when it comes to the work that we're looking to do. So realizing all these different things could be something that could be really, really helpful just to get us started. We all have a dream job. There's something that we want to be doing. We're just scared to do it. We're not sure how to do it. Look to get information, but more importantly, look to tweak it along the way. And by doing that, we can start to really step into all the different pieces that we want. If this is something that you want to be moving forward with, is something that you're passionate about, if you have a passion and you just don't know how to get out there, feel free to DM me. I can hook you up with different people to try to help you out. But we're really looking to wish everybody all the success, and we'll see everybody on the next one. Peace.